Hey, what's going on, everybody? Well, nobody's here yet. Hopefully that changes. Otherwise, I'm going to be a sad panda. Ugh. Let me go get that put in there. All right. Well, now we wait. 30 seconds. So, if anybody does show up, don't think I get the notification now, I guess. Usually doesn't take this long, YouTube. Of course, I don't think YouTube's sending out my notifications anymore, but that's beside the point. There, we got a few people popping in. Woo! You were almost first, DJ Savage. Pride of Texas beat you. Hello, everybody. This is kind of we haven't done a live in a while. It's been a hot minute, so I just wanted to go live, touch base with everybody, and kind of see what's going on. As far as big news, is that for you, Sniffle, or for me? Because I don't have a lot of big news right now. Mostly just same old, same old. Keeping on. I mean, we're in the middle of egg season. It's a really late season. Oh, awesome! That is great news. And getting that first one done is always the hardest. So congratulations getting that first egg hatched out of there. That's great. Yep, ants laying eggs. Oh, watch this on. I worked a lot of nights just myself, so I feel you. Although while I was working, we didn't really get to watch you too much. I do not. EJ Savage, we actually have nothing for sale. Isn't that a good problem? Basically, everything we have that goes for sale will go to Patreon first. If it clears Patreon, it goes to a show. If it clears a show, then it goes there. And the champagne babies are doing great on the first set of champagne babies. The second champagne hasn't laid yet. So we're doing really good. And it was champagne to lesser pastel. That's what it was. But yes. Well, I'm glad you enjoyed the channel, Tyler. And you know what? DNS Exotics, I don't know anything about lace blackback. Those are two genes I haven't worked with. So it's kind of just not something that's caught my eye and said, oh, I need to get into that project right now. As far as how many eggs, oh man, I don't know how many eggs I've had. 98 balls. I can tell you we're at 11 clutches. 11 is behind where we were this time last year, but the season seems to be going a little bit late. So I am confident we're going to be about where we were last year, if not a few more. I'm hoping to hit about 20 before it's all said and done. So yes. I saw about Hot Wheels. Actually, Ryan, I don't. My grandfather actually collects Hot Wheels, but I've never been into it really. So I collect real cars sometimes. Expensive, don't do it. To more genetics, any suggested sites or books that are good to read up on? I'm gonna start trying to read these comments more out loud. I've been told I need to ask people I'm responding to. Morph Market's a good site for using for prices. World of Ball Pythons is still a really good website. There's some great breeding information on the old forums. Be very careful on Facebook. You know where the opinion's coming from. So there's just different things. As far as are we going to Tinley in October? Likely not. It's just in the middle of some other things I got going on. I saw something about that lace blackback I wanted to see. Oh, yeah, it's going to be hard to tell. And do you have any luck with the super black pastel? We are still waiting to see. And basically where we're at on that, and she hasn't laid yet. And if you guys watched our video when we had our first Patreon guest, we showed that she was swelling. Let me show you something now on her. I know, I just checked you a minute ago. You're like, what the hell? This will give you an idea of why we're still waiting. So if you look at that girl, she didn't look too crazy from that angle, but when I get her on camera to relax and calm down, there you can really see that tail suck all through there. You can really see that swell. She is actually in full ovulation now. So that is what's going on with her. So we are going to get a chance to see how that works out. But we're going to be a little more patient. We're probably 45 days away from eggs. And then, of course, probably over 2 months from hatching. So that's kind of where it's at. So what state cities do you want to go to that you haven't been to yet? Oh, my God, all of them. All of them. I want to go to all of them, that's for sure. I should come to Daytona. Blue Shields, we're going to be in Daytona, actually. We will be going to the Daytona show. We will not be vending at the Daytona show. So basically, I'm going because, well, I just want to fucking go to Daytona. I mean, my brother lives down there. It's beautiful. It's fun to go screw off on the beach. So we're going to go. We're going to film. We're going to do some of that kind of stuff. So, and melt, yeah, no crap, Anna. It's hot. Marshall's asking, how do you label your hatchlings in the computer? The same way I label on the tub. So like 190101 is in the computer, it's on the tub, and it just goes that way. So how the super pastel xanthic is looking? Well, Jonathan, I'd love to show you, but because we're still in the middle of moving, I'm hoping that we'll be doing lives at the new house very, very soon. Basically, we're cheap, so we're trying not to put the internet over there, but we're going to have to do that. It's coming, but we just haven't paid the internet bill yet. So when we do that, we'll start doing lives over there, and all the babies are there. And Blue Shield Royals, please do. I'm guessing by the name that you're also involved in law enforcement, which is awesome. Also, it's my day job, so I really appreciate that too. So just look for us. We'll be dressed in purple. You know, we'll be there. We'll be hanging out. We'll be talking to a lot of people, mostly doing some shopping. Oh man, that Exoterra incubator. It's good for one clutch. It's a big clutch, maybe two. You can get 2 small containers in it. So not a lot. One of our baby balls, John asked, how do you purchase it? The best way is to join Patreon. As a matter of fact, we just filmed the first clutch update from this year, so that'll be out soon, and they will have a chance to purchase it. Hawaii is asking, when is the next live feeding? I don't know. We just did a feeding video. We didn't do it live. I mean, we did I guess I don't know if you're asking like live like this live or live like the Raps Alive. We literally just did one. The other day we did a rattlesnake update where we fed 1 rattlesnake, or scaleless, a pre-killed, and we fed 1 rattlesnake, which would be our hypomelanistic, alive. So we literally just did that this week. I don't think everybody's necessarily getting our updates because YouTube hates my guts. So, and I will not be at Tinley in October, most likely. We will see. Well, it's still there, Hawaii. If you go and you look at our videos, since it wasn't filmed live, you can still go see it, still watch it. Please do. And of course, David is asking to see the darkness. I'll show you the darkness. Now, she's eating, so I'm not 100% certain she's going to go. And I'll tell you, a lot of people probably see this and don't think it looks too crazy, but if you see it in person, it is definitely different. And what I mean is, got to say around. Oh. Awesome. Good job. About saving the rattlesnake. What I mean is, the camera doesn't really do it justice, but it is definitely an oddball looking snake. When Brenna was here, he really commented on how much of a sheen it has to it, and it really does. So it is definitely a different looking ball python. We're hoping it proves out genetic, but I'm also not going to hold my breath. Go in there, baby girl. Go on. If it does, great. If not, awesome. I mean, I can spend the money if it does, trust me. Well, the longest I've waited to feed a hatchling, I don't really know. I never really tracked it per se. It's all about body condition for me. So I always look at it and then go based on that on whether or not I need to start assisting or not. I think I've had some go almost a month before they ate, but they were also born like, huge, and so they could take a little longer, and it was fine. As far as how do you tell if a ball python is dehydrated, they're going to get loose skin. You really should never get them that dehydrated. Just keep water in there and you'll never have a problem. That's what I would suggest. The yellow jag's in shed, so I'm leaving him be, and he's going to be moving very, very soon. I'm excited to announce he'll be out of that crappy glass cage, and he is going to be going into a cage with, I'll get to Clinch Reptiles in 1 second, a big 6-foot cage, or 6-foot cage for now. That is one of the TGR ones. As far as an opinion on Clint's Reptiles, I've seen some of his videos. I haven't seen them all. I honestly don't have much time to watch YouTube. My plan was to do a live every week. I don't even have time to do that. I barely have time to breathe. I usually eat dinner in bed at the end of the day because I'm just got so much going on. Not complaining. I've set myself up that way. I'm perfectly good with it. But what I have seen from Clint's Reptiles, I like. I mean, him and I are very different, obviously, in the way we do things, which is great. I don't want to just watch myself on camera all the time, but I think he's very good. I think it's a little bit uh, different style, which is fine than what we're looking at. I think it's less breeding, more of what I see is this a good pet or is this more information about an individual animal? And I also really liked how he approached the spider controversy. So I have some respect for Clint's Reptiles. I think he's doing a fine job. Breeding is overrated. uh, if you got a 24-hour car ride, I mean, honestly, the easiest thing to do is just put it in like a bag, not a plastic bag, like a pillowcase or a shipping bag, and then just put it something where it's got a nice spot where it can't get out, where it's dark. I mean, we ship them in a box through FedEx and an airplane. That's how we ship them, is in a snake bag in an insulated box, and they go. So that would be fine. Resident Evil, I haven't played Resident Evil 2 in a long ass time. That was a good game. That was back in my school days, man. I don't even know what Thrive is. I mean, is that a thing, or are you talking about thriving as a human being? I have never been bit by a rattler, Caleb, and um, I hope I never do. Now, that being said, anytime you keep venomous, and lately I've been pretty outspoken, trying to be outspoken anyway on a respectful level about when you're going to be keeping venomous, not free handling your Gaboon vipers and not, doing stupid shit with them. Things that I think are common sense, but obviously they're not for some handlers. And it's kind of a risk reward thing. I mean, the more risk you take, the better chance you're going to have something bad happen. But anytime you keep those animals, you know, you're taking a risk. And I'm taking risk. And I fully accept that and I fully know that. So may the day come that I get bit. Yeah, it may come. It could be that I make a mistake. It could be that I misstep. I mean, who knows? But it can come. You try to minimize that risk as much as you can, but it's still there. Somebody asked about any advice for a new keeper wanting to eventually breed. Go to racks. I'm a big believer in racks for breeding. I think it works much better. So that's what I would suggest. And like Sniffle said, man, you got to follow it. It's going to be ups and downs, and you got to just go for it. Man, everybody's putting in good information right there. Do your due diligence, and research is great too. I also would say pace yourself. And what I mean is I see a lot of people who get into this and they get excited. And man, that excitement's great. It'll carry you a long ways, right? And they grow, they grow, they grow, they grow, they grow. Atomic Reptile is talking about it right now. Don't rush your collection. Yes, I agree, because you get too big and it'll crush you. And so it's a slow process, like start with a handful and make sure it's for you, work your way up. And you're going to find people say, well, I bought 75 right away and I did fine. And they're out there. But for every one person that did that, there's 100 that fell by the wayside. So, take your time. Don't beat yourself up over mistakes. Learn from them. Move forward. And there's, like Morph Mechanic said, you will not know everything. Experience will be the best way to learn. That's true. What I was going to say is, when I first started, I screwed up my first clutch. I killed it. It's well documented. I've been very open about it. I've been very open about how I killed it. And I'll share that story anytime people want to hear. But I had all the knowledge I could have. I mean, I'd studied. Man, I'd researched. I'd read everything. I dug through old forums. I dug through everything I could online. Articles after article after article. Everything. Right? But knowledge and the experience to apply the knowledge, I was lacking on this. And I had to gain this to really get good at my craft. I say good, not great, because I'm never going to be satisfied with what I do. I'm always going to look to improve and get better. The way to tell the age of a snake, size is a good indicator, but it isn't everything. There's really no dead set way, like that snake's 4, this snake is 6. I mean, mostly you're going to go by size, and size is going to be a guess. So, and David, that's personal opinion. It depends on what you're trying to do as far as which is a better to mix in fire or pastel. And the displays are a luxury one that can keep you engaged. I truly agree. I have animals I'll likely never breed. Like a Lilith. Which, by the way, if you don't know, Lilith is a name that was chosen on Patreon for a Gaboon Viper. And I'll probably never breed Lilith. I don't see myself ever needing to breed Gaboons. But having Lilith makes me happy. I come in there every day, man, and I check on her, and I'll work and I'll go check on her, and like just having those things. Because one thing about racks, as much as I advocate for racks, and I do, when you come in and you see your racks, this is what you see. And gentlemen and ladies, this is not that exciting. You know what I mean? Uh, it's not. But when you see that like Lilith's cage, it's very exciting. So I do agree that display animals are a luxury, but one you should definitely consider. Now James has a great thing, so I want to read that and go up from there. So it says, do you feel obligated? Oh, hold on a second. Thank you, John Morgan. He says, thanks for your videos. They have really helped me out with pushing myself into getting into keeping and breeding ball pythons. That's what we're here for, and we appreciate your channel support. Now let me go back up here and read James' comment. James says, do you feel obligated to inform the rest of the community about bad business practice, customer service when you come across it, and the adverse when it is positive as well? I'm more likely to inform the community about positive practice and a good experience. I'll give you a couple examples. I talk about tall grass reptiles a lot. I talked about it before. TGR Racks was our sponsor, and TGR Racks and tall grass reptiles are separate but related. And I still talk about them even if they weren't our sponsor, because my experience with them has been very good, both on the racks and the animals, right? You've also heard me talk about Daniel Allison and constriction addiction, because when I bought a snake from him, he walked me through the whole process of what I was getting. We worked through it. We worked through the price. He shipped me a snake that was better than expected, larger than expected. The shipping was perfect. It was everything you're looking for. It's those kind of things. So I do sing those praises. Now, I'm not as likely to call somebody out for a bad business practice. Here's the reason why. We've been pretty lucky that our voice carries. And what I mean is, if I say something, enough people are going to hear it right, wrong, or indifferent. It may help somebody and it may damage somebody. And I would rather help people than damage them. So if somebody does something that I feel is a bad practice, I'm more likely to tell them, hey, this is how I feel what you're doing is going to cause. And you know what I mean? I disagree with it. But I don't put them on blast. If I put somebody on blast ever, you're going to know. And there'll be a good reason why you do it. And Caitlin Robinson, snakes, good God, I don't know what you're talking about on that. We got snakes. Any suggestion females for a lemon blast? Ooh, man. I'd want to mix pastel in there to get to the super pastel version. I would also like, man, you can go about anything. Mine right now is we're going to a killer bee to get some super spinner blast. Of course, Scala said we're going to a champagne to see what we can do with that. I like pastel champagne together. And we're also going to a fire yellow belly. So there you go. This is a great one from Caleb. What's your go-to response when someone says, that looked great as my boot? Had that happen today while showing them the scaleless rattler. You know what? I used to get kind of pissy about shit like that. You know what I mean? Oh, was correcting her typo. Okay, because I was like confused. The comments go quick. I don't always see them. And now I just don't even worry about it, because, the way I feel I'm going to change people's opinion about snakes in general or a specific snake is not by when they say something asinine, being like, hey, you're a dumbass, and going round and round. Now, I still do that with trolls because they're pointless anyway. I'm just having fun with them. I look at that as a game, and I find it enjoyable, and I enjoy the fact that I know it pisses them off. It doesn't bother me. But in general, I don't usually get too upset about it. If I stay excited and I stay passionate, it's infectious. Eventually people are going to go, why is that guy so happy? What am I missing that I don't feel that way, or what? And they're either going to want to know about it, or they're going to want to hate me for it. And I can fix these I don't give a shit about. So I just don't worry about it. Why would I let their opinions drag me down? They say, oh, that look good as my boot, ha ha ha. Whatever, then, what, pay me $10,000, I'll sell it to you. They ain't going to do that, so we move on, and they're not worth that anyway. Shirts or snakes for sale right now, Big Will? We don't sell our shirts except for at shows. They are given away on Patreon, and then we also put all of our snakes to Patreon first. We are getting ready to start releasing clutches for 2019, but they'll be released there first, obviously. So me and Snake Discovery should collab. I haven't had a chance to watch a lot of her stuff. The things I've seen, I don't have a problem with. I like for the most part. I don't know how we would do that. I think we're quite a ways away. but I wouldn't be against it. I mean, that'd be good for me, probably better for me than it would be for her. But it's like, she's a much larger channel. She's grown very well, and I do like the fact that she approaches it from a few different angles from the things I've seen. So that's pretty cool. She's not a bad channel. So oh, I think my thing locked up. Let's see here. I have one that says I was doing a fundraiser for my baseball team, and a girl had a 3-year-old Doomerals Broa, and she let me hold it, and I fell in love. And this older lady looks at it, starts talking crap about it looking like her boots. Yeah, you know what? You can't fix those people, man. When are you going to start doing educational shows at schools? LKB, I've done it. Um, we've done that for several years. It just depends. It's hit and miss. Some of the things I do, and congratulations, I'm glad your shirt arrived. If we every year we've been invited to our museum here in town, and we've done kind of a display there for educational purposes. I've gone to a few of our local high schools to teach genetics classes because the science teachers really love the fact we can bring visual things that they can see. It's way better than talking about blue eyes and people, right? And then we also recently my veterinarian called me and said, hey, the school now has these 2 reptile pets, and they'd asked her to come talk about different things, and she invited us to go along to discuss the reptiles and see what they had. And they had a ball python and a bearded dragon. We actually made some adjustments to their ball python setup, and really ran them through in sexet form as well. So that was a lot of fun. So yes, we do that, but it's hard for me to do because the only day I would have open to do that is Monday at a school. So, and we do want to do more interviews with other channels. It's mostly been time constraints right now. So as jobs have changed not for me, but for Kurt, which is a great thing for him, but it does put time constraints on what we can do. So but that's changing again. So hopefully we're gonna have a little more time and we should be able to do something like that. Yes, Taj Lewis, we're going to Daytona. We won't be vending, so don't look for us selling. But look at me just kind of walking around, hanging out. Don't worry, I'll still wear all my purple. I'll be easy to find. My favorite single gene morphin combo, probably Xanthic, and right now it's my Zebra Bee. Hopefully we will be doing and if you look at her screenshot, that is a Zebra Bee breeding to our pastel Xanthic. So come on, killer Zebra Bees, right? And Jeremy, thank you so much. He says, because you're awesome. I'm going to mispronounce that last name. I want to say it's Chia, C-I-H-A. Jeremy, thank you so much. We really appreciate your support. It definitely helps us a ton. So what day in Daytona? I'll be there the whole weekend. We'll actually get to Daytona on a Friday. We'll crash there Friday night, and then we will be leaving Monday morning. So we'll be there for the weekend. And I want to say it's August 16th and 17th or right around there. And thank you, Joseph. So, and I do just deal in SK, David Daniels. Here's what I'll tell you on that. You have a lot of people say, "Oh, SK is the best," or "Oh, VPI is the best," or "Oh, whatever." It's crap. What's the best is what you work with the most and what you line breed to make nice. So I've seen very, very nice VPIs and very, very, very nice SKs and complete shit of both. So. But we got SK first. It was the first line we picked up. We got nice SKs first, and I think that's because of our proximity to Iowa. We're like a state or two away, and where John Dog is, and a lot of my line comes from him, and the rest of it comes from TGR, and that's where I brought in mine to mix, and then I got one out of Florida. So because of that's why I do SK. I don't own any VPI at all. Any new projects going on? Yes. I mean, obviously, we're still waiting on eggs this year. And I don't even know what the Area 51 get. Oh, where they're going to charge Area 51? No, I'm not, because I will tell you, whether there's aliens in there or not, I don't know. There's some weird government shit in there, I'm sure. But there's also a lot of little government bullets, and they're going to shoot people if they try to charge that. So, no, I am not going to do that. It's a bad idea. One of our projects, of course, is our Super Banana Black Pastel project. Super Black Pastel Banana project we're working towards. We have 3 scaleless head projects still going on. So that's kind of our new projects. Next year, we're going to add new genetics. Some of the things we're looking for when we go to Florida. We're also going to be we already added leopard, so we're going to be doing that. And then we're working towards blackhead. We're raising some blackhead stuff. So we are definitely going to be doing some really cool new stuff. Can't wait to do it. we'll see how it all goes. I mean, you never know till they're out the egg. Like that's kind of the thing with this. We also have some Tofinos coming, hopefully. So yeah, do I have any lizards? I own personally, I guess you could say one lizard. That's what I would call it. The one lizard would be my chameleon. He's a panther chameleon. We named him Emom. My wife renamed him Zeus, or renamed him Frank. So he's kind of Emom or Frank. And then I also have, of course, my croc. But I don't really consider a croc a lizard. It's a croc. So we'll go with those two. Spider female. I'm not sure. It says spider 8, so I'm not sure if the 8 means something I'm missing. You know, I like pastel. I think baby bumblebees are just gorgeous. So anytime you can put those two together, I think you're money ahead. So for me, that's what always ends up happening. I also love them when they're with Xanthic. It's all between banana, coral glow, and lesser butter. I don't think so, Anna. I think she's asked, is there any difference at all between banana, coral glow, and lesser butter? I think it's all the same. I've had people tell me they can tell lesser and butter apart. And then I've actually pulled up pictures of both, and they usually get about half of them right, which they should. Like, that's guessing 50%. So, no, I think it's all the same. Maybe it would have been slightly different if we've been good and responsible people and kept the lines completely separate. But even then, it's still the same genetic. I mean, I'll give you an example. If I were to take, like my spiders, I line breed my spiders a certain way, and my spiders tend to not have very many spotting at all. They're very reduced pattern. I'm not the only one that does that. But you can line, I mean, if we'd have kept banana, coral glow, those same gene and line bred them in different directions, you'd have a slightly different look. My first reptile, oh God, I don't even know how old I was. I was in the single digits in age, so we were talking back in the fucking 80s. And it was a green anola. I do remember that. I named him Zeus, which is the same name that my zebra bee now has. And he hated me, he hated everybody, but he was so much fun to watch, and I was caught then. So, a sleeper gene, in my opinion. You know what? I'm still gonna say mahogany. I think mahogany is gonna do some cool shit. I really do. I got some plans for my mahogany stuff. That's a project I didn't mention. The new projects we're working, and I think mahogany is gonna be where it's at. I also think Blitz is still kind of the sleeper, but I'm hard to hear tonight. I'm not sure why. Well, that's my ring volume. We're not using live. I can try to talk a little louder, but not sure what's going on. Now there is a question I'm happy to have. And Joe Angel asks, "What's your thoughts on the C8 Corvette?" My thoughts are, I really want that damn thing. So what I need is all of you to donate a bunch of money now, and I'll go buy one and film it. Right? I think it's going to be great. I'm really looking forward to it more than I thought I would be. And yes, Jonathan, we are going for the Firefly Xanthic. Well, Killer Bee Xanthic, David, is the volume better? I tried to kind of up it from here. What I mean by money is, Shane, because the car is $60,000, and I'm not going to be buying a new car unless somebody dumped a bunch in. So we're going to dump more genes into our Killer Xanthic Bee projects as well. Mostly Fire's going in there, Yellow Belly's going in there. There's going to be a lot going into that mix. So, yes. Right, Ethan, just share the hell out of these videos. Let's get that YouTube a-popping. I do like my vets, for those of you that don't know. But it's like, my vets are old. I buy them when they're old. So, and a lot of you guys don't know this. I think Patreon members do, because they get a lot of my day-to-day life. But, yeah. After I'm out seeing, I'm with you on that. My Jeep blew up, so I had to replace the car already. So, made our house a little bit poor. But I got a new bitchin' Jeep, so that's great. And yes, we have made a world's first ball python. We've made a couple of them, as far as I know. I only ever submitted one, and then I got lazy and never submitted the other ones. But if you go on World of Ball Pythons, you will find us credited for creating the first ever Champagne Blitz, which we called the Shits. We also were the first to ever create calico blitzes, which we call calits. I don't know if anybody else has ever done that before yet. They are freaking awesome. And we have a set of eggs that are calico blitz to banana black pastel right now. So, yes. And I can't tell you that one, John. He asked, what's the success rate of letting the mother set on the eggs naturally opposed to incubator? I've never done it, so I don't know. It has spider with a pure spider canine. No, don't mix anything with spider to spider. You will end up with dead babies. So spider to spider, bad. Don't do it. No, no, no. Did he? That's awesome if Barchek mentioned me in the Champagne Blitz. And you know what, too? Oh, let me get to that here in 1 second. I saw something else I wanted to see. First, invest in expensification or expensive snakes, IRS and FB, other alternatives. Well, not to mention, I like the TGR racks. That's what we use. They're great. They use the Freedom Breeder tub, so you get all those benefits. They will save you some money, though. They do offer military discounts, and if you become a Patreon member, you get 10% off on your order as well. So, there you are. And people from owning pythons bowls over 6 feet, certain monitors have been on a permit. Yeah, that shit happens, 50 to 60% best results on self-incubation. Screw that. Ever encountered something like that in Kansas? As far as the rules go, yeah, but most of it's cities. So cities like to pass, like the city I live near, not in, has a 6-foot limit. I don't live in the city. I live out just for that purpose. Right, that's true, James. That is a good point, and I didn't want to misrepresent that. And he says the military discount and the Patreon discount cannot be combined on TGR. That's correct. It is one or the other. So if you're signing up just for the discount and you're a military veteran, it's not going to benefit you as much. But we'd still love to have you there anyway, obviously. And do I ever go to the KC show? Yes, I do. A little bug flying in here. Yes, I do, but I haven't had to in a while. KC's always been good to me when we go. Now, my shop, I own part of a reptile shop. It's separate from this, but it's connected. They go frequently, but that's not Olympus-produced animals. I don't live in Florida. I live in Kansas, the great state of Kansas. How long before you can use the discount? Usually, once you've been billed the first time, use it. I mean, it's just a code that we have that we put out there, and if you join up and you're on there for a month and you ask me the code, I'll give it to you, or somebody else will give it to you. I mean, we don't really hide it. So, Duck from Jupiter, I wouldn't. I have completely abandoned the caramel gene altogether. Now I've got. Yeah, get them on because I've got some het caramel stuff or possible het caramel stuff. I don't even worry about it being het caramel. I'm not breeding for caramel. I'm done. Like, I've never tried for caramel. So that would be one of the things I would suggest steering away from it. That being said, if you choose to do that, that's your choice. And I am not going to sit there and rip you apart for it like some people are going to do, like I've experienced over spider. So if you choose to do it and you know the risk and you think you can mitigate those, man, go for it. Just document what you're doing. And if you do find a way to do it well, share with the community. You know what I mean? That's one of my biggest things is we share information with each other. We all get better. So I haven't seen her use the Gen 3 stuff. I have an order currently hanging out there. So I'll be curious what comes in, if it's Gen 2 or Gen 3. Not a huge order. I've got, let's see, another 10 stack of those guys coming in. And then I've got some display caging. So we're trying to get that place ready. And I can see you, the Animal Man. You are posting. And, I mean, you can go for it, Duck, but understand you're going to get some shit from some people. And know the risk, and then make your own educated decision. So that's all you can do. I mean, you're never going to make everybody happy in this hobby. Like, if I tried to make everybody happy, I couldn't breed spider. I couldn't use racks. I couldn't use glass cages. I think I'd have to just free range my fucking snakes. It's just, it's crazy. It's crazy. But one thing I do want to get back, it is a hard hobby, is somebody had mentioned that Barchek mentioned us for the Champagne Blitz. I would love to know when that was. I'd love to see that. I haven't seen it. And usually when he gets mentioned in one of my videos, all this like, and then the fence comes in. So I always like to put out there that, Brian's always been a good dude to us. That doesn't mean I'm going to agree with him on every single thing he ever does. And he's not going to agree with me on every single thing I ever do. But he's always been helpful when I've needed it. He's always been a good guy. And he truly is passionate about the animals, despite what some people say. I've seen it in person when the cameras aren't on, when you're just bullshitting about animals or swapping pictures of animals back and forth. He is. So he is true to that form. Just so you guys know. And if anybody doubts it, there it is. Horns down. This K-State guy, that's us, right? Horns down. But we do have some Texans in here. We do appreciate them. See if a female ball is like 6 feet or a little bigger. Do I have to get rid of it? I know it won't get that big. I wouldn't. I'll tell you what. I once lived in a town that had a 6-foot limit. It might be that one right by me when I first moved here. And I had a boa constrictor that was over 6 feet. I mean, he was probably 6.5, maybe 7. He was a male. He was a stunted male from before I got him. But he was well over 6 feet. And whenever I'd catch shit for it from people I knew, I would simply say, oh, he's 5'11" 3/4 inches. He's a mean son of a bitch, but if you want to measure him, go ahead. He wasn't mean. He was a sweetheart, but they didn't know any better. I knew a bunch of people I work with, and nobody ever questioned it. Nobody ever measured that snake. They just go, oh, rah, 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 and move on. So just say he's 5'11" 3/4 and invite them to measure it to let him know that he's mean. Problem solved. He does get a lot of hate, and he doesn't deserve it. I mean, none of us are perfect. It's just, yeah. What's the largest I've ever had? Oh, God. When they're full of eggs, we push some up over 4,000 grams. So, RMC, you know what? Here's the thing. I'm not really a bandwagon guy. Like, if I thought Brian Barczyk was a problem and bad for the hobby, I'd say it. If I think he's doing something good, I'm going to say it. Like, I'm not going to just go with the stream, whatever way it is. So 5K, Jesus Christ, that's huge. That's awesome. I do cut my eggs. John Morgan asked what's my thought on egg cutting, and do I cut them? Yes, I do. I cut them. Yes. About to be a rattler for biggest snake. Don't get that. Q's, or for the biggest snake, is about to be a rattlesnake. My biggest snake isn't a rattlesnake. My biggest snake will probably end up being my Gaboon if you go by weight. She's growing like a freaking weed, man. My first ball python clutch this year, probably March, maybe April, somewhere in there, probably March. It can hurt them if you screw it up. So as long as you do it right, you're not going to hurt them. As long as you do it when it's time, you're not going to hurt them. I've never once hurt a baby cutting an egg, and I've cut almost every egg I've had. I typically wait till the first one pips, and then it's time to get the scissors out and snippy. So that's just kind of how we've always done it. I have saved a few, but I've never killed any. I've had a couple of yolks abandoned, but that's been about the worst of it. So, I mean, some people do, some people don't. Again, it's kind of those personal choices. Colombia, South America. Man, like, what'd you like? Just native shit down there? There's some cool stuff in South America. I don't know the current weight on the Gaboon. I actually I haven't weighed her, but she's eating. I'll probably get a weight on her here soon. I told you, and for those who don't know, Andrew Aidenbaum's the one that sent the Gaboon to us. He donated it to Olympus because he knew we really wanted one, and I love it. I said we ordered a TGR order. What we have coming is 2 6-foot cages and a 3-foot cage, right? And then, of course, 1 stack of racks we need. One of those 6-foot cages is for the Gaboon. So I'm going to go ahead and move her out of the 3-foot, even though she had not grown it yet. And I'm going to set her up and really now I'm going to take some time to put it together and get it all the way I want and move her into a 6-foot so she can grow and fill that and be in there. That'll be her final cage. So I'm really, 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 really looking forward to that. It's going to be awesome. So that is, she is one of my favorites for sure, if not my favorite snake. Working only on Patreon, Duck. It's the only place to find what we have. And do I have any more clutches? Yes. So far this year, we've hatched out 5. I've got another 6 cooking. And then I've got, let's see, this one's going to lay. So my Blitz, I'm pretty certain is going to lay. Pretty sure my Killer Bee is going to lay. Pied's about to lay now. My Albino's about to lay now. I think my Ghost is going to screw me. My Bumblebee is going to lay. My Black Pastel, I just showed you she's ovulating. Not counting on the Pastel Xanthic, not counting the Darkness. Sorry, Dave. That one just laid. I haven't moved her yet. My Lesser's going to lay. I believe my Champagne's going to lay still. I think my Fire Yellow Belly's going to lay, and my Lesser Ghost. So I'm hoping to get 10 more. That's my hope. Oh, there's also one more clown to go. So I'm hoping to get 11 more. That would be freaking awesome. I think on some of those aren't guaranteed. As far as anti-venom for the Gaboon, it's going to be Nebraska or Pennsylvania. My first phone call will be Pennsylvania. Order my own fucking helicopter, so I have to wait on the hospital to figure out what to do. My actually plan is to not get bit, and then they're gonna just, I mean, they can get you there. They just got to keep you alive. That's why it's so important to go to the hospital first. Like, people who sit around and they wait on something like that to see if it's a problem, and then they go, oh shit, it's a problem, and then they go. That's where the issue lies. Yes, they can kill you really fast. They usually don't kill you that fast. It takes a little bit of time. So, you just gotta like get yourself there, know what you need, because the doctor here is not gonna know what you need. They're gonna be like, what the hell, and know where you need to be. The reason I say Nebraska is Henry Dooley Zoo. They should carry a stock of that. And Pennsylvania has the second largest venom lab in the nation, right behind Venom 1 in Florida. So there you go. And no, the Gaboon Viper is not a good first snake. As a matter of fact, the Gaboon Viper is not a good snake for 99% of snake keepers. There you go. I mean, that's the way it is. It's highly venomous. It's highly dangerous. It is an instant problem. Yes, that Gaboon Viper is an instant problem. There's no sitting around and wait and see. Just fucking go. Here's the thing about a Gaboon, and I've seen people recommend them for a first venomous snake, and after having it, I honestly see why. Like that Gaboon, I two-hook her all the time. And the reason I two-hook her is when they get big, you have to two-hook them. So I want her to be used to two-hooks now. I want me to be better at two-hooks. So her and I practice and learn together. And eventually we'll have to run wider hooks for her as she gets weight, depending on how much weight she gets to. But the kicker is this. They're gentle. They let you make mistakes. That Gaboon would let me make 100 mistakes. She hardly ever even hisses at me now. I mean, you can set her on the floor if you want, and she just kind of roar like a caterpillar. We have 4 cats. Somebody asked. Thanks my wife for that. There's a lot of things you can do with them that make them seem like a great first snake. But the problem lies with the Gaboon is all of those things make them a horrible first venomous. The reason for that is you want a first venomous, to me, to be a snake that, one, you're not going to have a high likelihood of death if you get bit. Gaboon Viper's pretty serious incident. It is survivable if you get to the right place and it's not a horrible bite and all those things. But it can also kill you. You're flipping a quarter here. If you go with something less likely to kill you, that's probably good. And something that, like a lot of people say copperheads. I think copperheads are good if you don't mind the smell of them. But right there you go, Sniffle just said, because they don't let you make mistakes. Most of them. They're not usually very friendly. They're quick to strike. They make you, and I don't have any bamboos at all, Ethan. They make you respect what they are. The Gaboon doesn't, right? The Gaboon, I mean, that's why you see people free handle them all the time, because they let you do that right up until the moment they don't. And when that day comes that they don't, and they turn and they do it 100 miles an hour, and they flip around on you and nail your ass, you ain't got nobody to blame, right? It's you. So they don't make a good first venomous. With my Gaboon, I am constantly having to remind myself what it is. What it is. Every day. You got to go through your protocols, and you got to remember to respect that animal, because it probably won't require you to do it until it does. So that is what I would say. You really got to just, they're gnarly. They're awesome though. That was one of my dream snakes to have. So I'll get off my high horse there and move on. Chris Sweet is very patient with his venomous. I don't know who Chris is, so. A reason I'm laughing is Caleb. Caleb says my first venomous was a mamba. Wasn't a good idea. Probably not. Those are some scary ass. I don't do mambas. Those are some scary ass snakes, man. They're all over the map, constantly. that's like saying, you know what? I don't know how to swim, but I'm gonna jump in the fucking ocean. That's awesome. It worked out though, right? Any advice, man, just stick with it. Stick with it. Don't grow too big. Soak in as much as you can and learn from your mistakes. That's the best advice I can give you for being a newer breeder. Yeah, larger racks do take a while to get in, Anna. I mean, the TGR ones, that's one of the biggest knocks I've ever heard people complain about is how long it takes to get stuff. They are working to improve that. They're looking at bigger warehouses to have more stuff, so they're not waiting on things to make stuff. You see what I'm saying? So it'll be a hog nose. Hog nose is a great one to have. Yeah, no worry about them things killing you. So go bigger. So wait a minute. It was a zoo's fault? So the zoo gave you a frickin' mamba? What the hell and what zoo is that? I need to go there. Yeah, I've got some that are ready to move to a bigger tub, but we're waiting on stuff to come in too. And I can't describe the Disco Jinx. I haven't worked with it yet. Ooh, super condo. Hognose are so cool. Like, that's a snake that sometimes I think about getting into. The Animal Man, yes, I have had to put a snake down. And it's rare. It's very, 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 very rare. You got a couple ways you can do it. Some people will do it through the freezer. You know, there's debate on whether or not that causes pain. I mean, it's going to cause the cells to fracture, which would be a horrid, 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 horrid thing. The question is they already shut down before that happens, so are they feeling that? So the freezer is one way. I prefer a quick death. So if I have a hatchling that's not going to make it, that I need to dispatch right now, you got two ways. I mean, one is you can just, this is horrible to say, liquid nitrogen would be an instantaneous freeze as well. You could also do it just a straight spinal dislocation, which is like a head severing. You disconnect those two, they're not going to be able to send messages or issues. I typically also use the croc. Pellet gun to the head. The only problem with pellet gun to the head is I'd be worried about making sure I got the brain material of that snake because ain't a lot of it there. So I'll tell you, I use the croc. You know, if I had, and I think you'll see a lot of reptile breeders keep something like, just like I was getting ready to say, you know, Sniffle uses a king snake. Some of the venomous keepers who like their king cobras use their king cobra. Those are why we have some of those. For me, it's a croc. I use my croc. It's just, you know, what it's for. King snakes are great. I also knew a kid that used to catch copperheads around here and use them for king snake food. You know, I had no problem with that. They had an assload of them on their land, but and yeah, Caitlin, that does it too. I mean, it is gruesome, but we're talking about dispatching an animal in the safest means necessary. It doesn't need to be pretty. It needs to be effective, and it needs to be instantaneously effective. So, like, you know, I've had to put down a lot of animals over my life. Not usually my own pets. Usually it's wildlife. And like deer. I've had to shoot a lot of deer that get hit by cars. Part of my job. And my favorite thing to use was my 12 gauge shotgun because I could walk up, I could blow out both lungs and heart in one shot, and I knew it was going to be quick. And there wasn't going to be much suffering. Was it pretty? No, they put a hole in them like this, but it got the job done fast. So preference is always for that. And now that this conversation is taking a dark turn, so we'll get back to happy stuff. But yeah, occasionally you're going to have that. It is part of the business. It's unfortunately a sad part of the business. But yep. Yep, I agree. I agree, Caitlin. Fast is best. Sucks, but it is best. You know, I mean, nobody wants it drawn out. That's just some things I don't necessarily have the heart to do. Give it to the gator, I do. You know, it's just, yeah. Those were, well, they were road injured deer. That's what those were. You know, I've also had to, you know, put down some distemper coons and things like that. I've also taken coons and nursed them back to health. Like I went out in my own yard to just pop one about a year ago because looked like I had distempers out in the daytime. And I noticed it was actually injured. So instead of that, we actually kind of nursed it a little bit and got it back fine. So it's just kind of, yeah. Somebody's talking about Chandler. I'm not even going to discuss Chandler's wildlife. I'm just going to leave that alone. yeah, we have in our areas too is copperheads and rattlesnake. So my banana projects I'm working right now is we have some banana black pastels, just banana black pastel to a normal, in the incubator cooking. I'm also pairing my banana black pastel to my pinstripe, it could be a late clutch, and then the banana black pastel to my black pastel, which will be incubating separate at a lower temperature to attempt to see if we can't delete the kinking. So, yes. Anyway, and somebody said they checked. Yeah, you're not going to find us on Morph Market, Nick. We don't sell there. We are very, very blessed and very, very fortunate in that Patreon buys 90% of their stuff. The rest of it just goes to a show and sells. If we ever had to sell online, I'd probably use Morph Market, but I haven't needed to, so I don't. I much prefer selling to people who, are on our Patreon. I know who's getting the snake. I can talk to them a little more. A lot less chance of scams, which there are scams out there. We had people try to scam our shop before, and so yes, it's at a show I can see what I'm dealing with, so I prefer that. So you're not going to find me on there until I have to be on there. I don't have any colubrids. It's just not what I've ever gotten into. And an invested keeper is a good keeper. And here's the thing, like, I'm not an elapid person, so I don't have a lot of elapid experience. I have worked them. I've kind of owned one. Um, but I'm not going to sit here and say that, like, what somebody does with their elapids is the wrong way to do it, blah, blah, blah. They may have way more experience than I have. I can tell you, no matter how experienced I have, it's never how I would do it. Because I personally don't feel it's the right solution for me or the safe way to do it for me. But again, it comes down to his personal choice. So can I sell your snakes for you? We don't sell my snakes in my shop currently, Lori. That may change to an extent. And what I mean is, we may, they're two separate businesses, but let's say we have a handful of normals they don't sell on Patreon, then we may end up taking those and selling them to the shop at a wholesale cost. But typically, no, the shop does not carry Olympus ball pythons. Olympus ball pythons is completely separate from what the shop has. So I haven't actually seen the silver streak. I think I've seen pictures of silver bullet. It looks cool. Haven't tried to make it yet. So, right, and Pride of Texas, and what he's saying is the same thing for the motorcycle helmet laws here. Teach their own, but I don't want my brain spilled out. Yeah, I kind of look at it the same way. But is there a place to see the shows Olympus will be at? Not right now. Because, trust me, if we're going to a show to sell, you're going to know. I'm going to mention it before we go. I'm going to promote it. I'm going to do all those things to help, bring people to it. But I don't know if we'll have to go to any this year. I like going to shows. So we may go to some shows like the Daytona. We're going just to go. We're going to run a camera. We're going just to be there. I'm literally driving my happy ass to Florida to be around reptile people. But I'm not selling. So I've been breeding snakes, Animal Man, for probably about maybe 2013 or 14. If I had a set, and David Daniels is asking, okay, I have one I know the axanthic lines don't cross, but if I had a set het for 2, would it make a double axanthic snake? That is the $1 million question. I know some people who have been working on that, but I've never heard the results of their work. So I think it does, but I think it looks like an axanthic snake. I don't think you can make a super axanthic that's like twice as axanthic as an axanthic. But and then, how do you know which one? If you pop visuals, you've got 2 double hets and you breed them, and you pop a visual axanthic, the problem is you don't know what line it is. So it's kind of a mess. That's why people don't do it. We keep asking to stop and visit on his way through our states on Patreon. And yeah, we might end up doing that. Plus people come here, which we like. So, and nope, Blade, I'm not gonna commit to Tinley right now. If that changes, I'll let you guys know. But as it stands right now, probably not. Most likely if I go to Tinley, it'll be the non-October Tinley. Just because where it's at. And there's not a wait list, Nick. So here's what happens on Patreon, for those of you that don't know. When we do a clutch update, we'll do a video on Patreon as well. We always do a video, like when I finish here in a few minutes, I'll go to do a live on Patreon. I always double do it. And when we do the clutch update here, then they're for sale on Patreon. So that's kind of how that works. We always put them there first. And then people, it's first come, first serve, and then we ship them out and we go from there. So that's where it goes. But something fishy. Nobody likes me. That's what's fishy. No, yeah, YouTube's been a little fishy in general lately. And Dale Millen says, hey, Matt, went to our local reptile expo today in Vallejo, California, Northern California, or North California, I think it means Northern, asking breeders on the choice of YouTube channel. Olympus reptiles came up more than a few times, all positive. Nice. That is great. I'm glad to hear that. Hopefully we represent the breeders. My whole goal with this is to represent, just a dude who's trying to build a business. That's what I want to do. Like, build a breeding business. It's not to be the biggest. It's not to have, the most 18 gene snakes. It's not to do any of that. It's to look and share my journey of how we came and what we've learned and where we're at. Because if I can do it, you can do it. Simple as that. That's why we're here. That's what this channel started for. Well, partly as a joke with a buddy of mine. That's where it kind of went to. So, check your temperatures, and that's one thing I'll tell you. Make sure your temperature's spot on. The next thing I would say is whatever you're feeding, if you're doing rat pink, switch to hopper mice. And then if you get a hopper mouse, its eyes are still kind of closed and it doesn't have teeth yet, you don't have to worry about it biting your snake, right? So just put it in there. Close it, walk away for a day. Don't worry. It's not like leaving a rat in a snake tub. It'll be fine. Do it all the time. It's how I get a lot of them started. Yeah, some of the 5+ genes get to look like a muddy pile of shit. I do like Stranger Things. I haven't seen the new season. Say nothing about it, please. Thank you. No spoilers. How Clown Pied and Desert Ghost. Nice. We actually will be getting into Desert Ghost soon. I'm really excited about that. And we actually have been doing pies for a few years, and we just put our first set of clown eggs in the incubator a few days ago. So that's pretty cool. So we'll be hatching our first clowns, hopefully very, very soon. All right, guys. The chill board. You're talking about the one with the lights. I found that at a garage sale. I need to change the wording on it in Minnesota. And just thought, that's cool, I'll hang it in the reptile room. I haven't seen the current Blue Ghost project. Now I'm going to go look it up, though. All right, guys, it is time for me to hop off of here and switch over to Patreon and do the live over there. I appreciate all you guys for joining us. Thank you so much. And I'm sorry that your room smells bad because you farted really loud. Happens to all of us on occasion. Catch y'all next week.